The orbital fortress demanded an access code. She whispered her childhood name. HFY Scifi. Story: the ship moved slowly through the dark, its engines quiet to avoid unwanted attention. Space around it looked empty, but everyone aboard knew that emptiness was never truly empty. Old signals, dead satellites, and forgotten weapons still drifted between the stars. The ship was small and worn. Its paint was faded, and its hull carried marks from past repairs. This was not a warship. It was a recovery vessel sent to investigate old objects that no one else wanted to touch. At the front control seat sat Lena. She was not the captain. She was not even the most experienced crew member. She was a systems worker, hired because she could understand machines that did not want to be understood. She spoke little, listened a lot, and trusted her instincts more than data charts. Outside the forward window, something massive began to appear. At first, it looked like a shadow blocking the stars. Then lights reflected off metal so wide it seemed endless. The structure was round, layered, and covered in deep grooves that looked almost like scars. The orbital fortress. Most people believed it was a myth. Some said it was alien. Others said it was an old human weapon that never worked. Records about it were broken, lost, or sealed behind warnings. The captain stared at the screen, his voice low. "That thing is bigger than the moon." No one answered. The fortress floated silently, unmoving, as if it had been asleep for a very long time. No lights, no signals, no signs of life. Lina felt her chest tighten. She did not know why, but something about the fortress felt familiar. Not friendly, not safe. Just familiar, like a place seen long ago in a dream. Sensors showed nothing active. No power flow. No defense systems. The captain gave the order to approach. As the ship crossed an invisible boundary, everything changed. Lights ignited across the fortress surface. Lines of energy ran through its body like veins waking from a long sleep. Massive structures rotated into position, weapons unlocked. Alarms screened inside the ship. Targeting systems locked on. The crew froze. A deep sound filled the ship. Not loud but heavy, like a voice speaking directly inside their bones. Identify. The word echoed in perfect human language. The captain tried to speak, but his voice failed him. Another crew member sent automated signals, codes, old military identifiers. The fortress ignored them. "Access code required," the voice said. The temperature inside the ship dropped. Power flickered. The fortress weapons began charging. Everyone knew what that meant. They were seconds away from being erased. Lena's hand shook, but she did not look away from the fortress. Her breathing slowed, even as fear pressed hard against her chest. The voice spoke again. Access code required. Final request. The captain turned toward her. His eyes were wide. Desperate. "Do something," he whispered. Lena swallowed. Her mind raced through logic, through systems theory, through language models. None of it fit. This fortress was not using normal encryption. It was not responding to authority or rank. It wanted something else. Then a memory surfaced. Not clear. Not sharp. Soft, like an echo from childhood. A quiet room. A small bed. A voice speaking gently in the dark. She had not thought about that night in years. She did not know why the memory came now. Her mouth moved before her mind could stop it. She leaned toward the console and whispered a single name. A name no one aboard had ever heard her say before. The fortress went silent. Weapons powered down mid-charge. Energy flows stopped, lights dimmed, then shifted to a calm, steady glow. A massive opening formed along the fortress surface. A docking path aligned perfectly with the ship. The voice returned, no longer cold. Identity confirmed. The ship drifted forward, pulled by invisible force. No one spoke. No one moved. They were too afraid that even breathing might break whatever miracle had just happened. The ship locked into the fortress with a sound that echoed through the hull. Air equalized. System stabilized. The captain stared at Lena like she was no longer human. "What did you say?" he asked. Lena shook her head slowly. "I don't know," she said. "I just remembered it." The inner door opened. Beyond it stretched a wide corridor made of dark metal and soft light. The walls were smooth, unbroken, and warm to the touch. Symbols moved across the surface like flowing water, changing shape as Lena stepped forward. The rest of the crew followed, weapons ready, though they all knew how useless those weapons would be. As Lena entered the corridor, the lights brightened around her. When others stepped closer, the light dimmed again. The fortress was watching her. The voice spoke once more, now gentle, almost respectful. "Welcome back." Lena stopped. Her heart pounded. "I have never been here," she said aloud. "Incorrect," the voice replied. "You have been here." "You left."
Images filled the air, stars burning.
Ships moving in formation, humans standing beside machines taller than buildings. A younger version of Lena, watching something vast and shining. Her knees weakened. The captain caught her before she fell. "This is not possible," he said. Lena stared at the images, tears forming without her understanding why. "Why do I remember nothing?" she asked. "For your survival," the fortress replied. "For humanity's survival." The corridor opened into a massive chamber. At its center floated a sphere of light, slowly turning, filled with moving patterns. "This system requires a guardian," the voice said. "You were chosen." Lena shook her head. "I am no one," she said. "I fix broken systems. I hide in engine rooms." The light pulsed softly. "That is why you were chosen." Far beyond the fortress, unseen by the crew, distant sensors began detecting the awakening. Signals spread across space, old and powerful. Others were listening. And they were coming. The fortress sealed itself shut. Inside, Lena stood beneath the glowing core, knowing that whatever she had just unlocked could never be closed again. The fortress was alive, not with humans, not with creatures, but with something older and smarter than any machine Lena had ever seen. Its corridors seemed to breathe. Walls shifted slightly, guiding the crew forward without a sound. Every movement felt deliberate, as if the fortress itself were a being, watching, thinking, deciding. The crew had followed Lena into the central chamber, but they did not speak. Even the captain, usually loud and brash, seemed hushed under the weight of the place. The sphere at the center glowed steadily, casting soft light on their faces. Patterns of energy moved inside it, like a storm frozen in time, never the same twice. Lena stepped closer. Her fingers hovered above the sphere, but she did not touch it. A memory flickered through her mind again, sharper this time. A child's laughter, a voice calling a name she had not spoken in years. It was strange to feel recognition from something she had never seen before, yet somehow knew. "You are awake," the voice said, soft now, patient. It no longer sounded threatening. "I have waited long." "Who are you?" Lena asked, her voice shaking. "I am the fortress," it said. "I am what remains of those who guided your kind. I am your past, your choice, your future. You are the key." The crew exchanged nervous glances. Some stepped closer to Lena. Others hung back, unsure whether to trust the machine or fear it. "How am I the key?" Lena asked. "I don't understand. I'm just human." "I fix broken systems."
"I'm not special. You are the one they prepared," the fortress replied.
"Before your birth, before humanity forgot, before the stars turned cold, you were chosen to awaken me, to restore what was lost." "Chosen? By who?" Lena whispered. "By those who taught your kind. By humans long gone and machines older than memory. By the signal embedded in your mind. Your childhood name is not just a name. It is a code, genetic and mental, that opens the path only you can walk." The crew was silent. None of this made sense. Lena's mind raced. Her parents had always been secretive about her early years, but she remembered nothing. Nothing about her first steps, her earliest words, or the dreams that seemed too real to be imagined. And now the fortress claimed she had been made for this, for a purpose she did not know. The sphere pulsed again. Light expanded, wrapping around Lena as if it were alive. She did not resist. She felt a pull toward it, not physical, but something deeper, like an invisible tether connecting her to the heart of the fortress. "You must choose," the fortress said. "Awaken fully, or leave. But know this, the galaxy will not wait. Old enemies sense my return. They will come." "What enemies?" the captain asked, his voice tight. "Those who once hunted humans," the fortress said. "Those who believed you weak. They prepare fleets, unaware that their prey is no longer defenseless. Their eyes will fall upon the stars, and they will see humanity as it was meant to be."
Lena's stomach twisted.
She could feel the weight of the decision. If she allowed the fortress to awaken fully, it would change everything. She could not be sure if humanity was ready for that power. The crew moved around her, studying the corridors. Strange symbols shifted under their gaze. Doors appeared where there had been none. Walkways extended into darkness, leading to unknown chambers. The fortress seemed to respond only to Lena, ignoring the others as if they were invisible. A screen appeared in midair, glowing faintly. Images of the past flickered across it. Humans standing with machines, ships moving faster than light, battles fought in silence among the stars. Lena recognized some faces, though she did not know why. They were not her parents. They were older, different, heroes of a humanity no one remembered.
"I never knew this existed," Lena said quietly. "How could all of this be true?" "Because humanity forgot," the fortress said.
"Because they chose freedom over guidance. But the seeds remained. You are the first to bloom." A sound came from the outer corridors. Faint at first, but growing. Sensors detected multiple fast-moving vessels approaching. Not human, not friendly. They were smaller, nimble armed. They had been lying in wait, watching for centuries, and now the fortress had announced itself. "They are coming," the fortress said. "Do you wish to see their strength, or do you wish to awaken fully?" The crew froze. Some turned to flee, but there was no path back. The docking ports were already sealed. The fortress had claimed them. Lena felt fear rise inside her, but she also felt something else. Something she had not felt before. Power. Responsibility. A strange certainty that she could do this if she only trusted herself. "What will happen if I awaken it?" she asked. "The galaxy will change," the fortress said. "All that was hidden will be revealed. Humans will rise, but so will danger. Your choices will shape the balance of life and death." Lena's mind raced. She thought of her parents, her childhood, the quiet nights she could barely remember. The fortress knew something about her past she did not. It had waited for this moment, and now the choice was hers. She took a deep breath. Her hands moved toward the glowing sphere. Energy wrapped around her fingers, climbing her arms, filling her body with warmth and light. It was not painful. It was awakening. The crew watched in silence, unsure whether to step back or follow. Lena felt a voice inside her, not the fortress, not her own, but something older. It whispered encouragement, fear, memory, and hope all at once. "You are ready," it said. Suddenly the corridor lights shifted. The walls opened, revealing a command center unlike any she had seen. Screens floated in midair, ships from the past and present displayed across them. Energy flowed through the room like water. The fortress was alive, and it waited for her command. Lena stepped forward. She felt the weight of all that had been lost pressing on her. The memory of her first name, the childhood she barely remembered, and the unknown purpose she had carried all her life converged. She was no longer just Lena, the systems worker. She was something more. The outer doors of the fortress exploded outward. A fleet of alien ships appeared, their weapons drawn, their numbers vast. They had detected the awakening. They had come to destroy what they did not understand. "Prepare the defenses," Lena said, her voice steady. Her hands moved over the floating controls instinctively, as if she had been trained to do this for 1,000 years. The fortress responded immediately. Shields rose, energy cannons aligned. Weapon systems hummed, ready. The alien ships fired. Beams of light and energy sliced through space, but the fortress absorbed and redirected them, striking back without killing. The crew gasped. Weapons were precise, controlled, unlike anything humanity had. Lina realized the fortress was learning, responding to her thoughts, anticipating the enemy. It was alive in a way she could feel in her bones. "This is only the beginning," the fortress said. "They do not understand, but soon they will learn that humanity is no longer weak." The first alien ships fell into retreat, confused and terrified. Others turned to flee, but more were coming. Hundreds more, perhaps thousands. The fortress pulsed again, as if laughing, as if it had been waiting for this moment for centuries. Lena stood at the center, hands glowing with energy. She was connected to the fortress now, not as a worker, not as a visitor, but as its chosen. She understood, finally, that the name she whispered was not just a code. It was a promise, a memory, a key that had opened the path for humanity to rise again. The crew looked at her with awe and fear. They were witnesses to something they did not understand, something larger than life itself. And outside, the galaxy began to notice. Something had awakened and nothing would ever be the same again. The fortress had settled into a quiet hum. Its weapons remained ready, but they were no longer firing. Lena stood at the center of the command chamber, her hands hovering above floating controls that seemed alive. She could feel the fortress pulsing around her, aware of her thoughts, her emotions, and even her fears. She realized she had become part of something far bigger than herself. The crew watched, tense and silent. They had followed her into the fortress willingly, but now some of them were unsure if they belonged here. The place was not merely a building or a machine. It was conscious. It responded only to Lena. To the others it felt like walking through a dream in which everything moved but nothing made sense. "Tell me," Lena said quietly, her voice echoing against metal walls. "Tell me why I was chosen." "You were chosen before you were born," the fortress replied. The voice was calm, almost gentle. "Long ago, humans were guided by those who created me. You are the bridge between what was and what must be. You are the one who can restore what humanity forgot." "I don't understand," Lina said. "I've lived my life in silence. I fixed broken systems. I never commanded anything. How can I restore anything?" "You have been trained without knowing it," the fortress said. "Your memory was hidden, erased, protected. You have the knowledge and instinct of those who built and defended entire star systems. The name you whispered was the key to unlocking that memory. It awakened not just me, but the link to your past and to the past of your kind."
Images appeared in midair, projected by the fortress.
Lena saw humans and ships unlike any she had seen before. Towering machines moved with precision. Battles were fought in silence across the stars. She saw herself, or someone like her, standing beside these humans, issuing orders, commanding fleets, guiding the fortress itself. The memories were not her own, yet they were. Confusion tore at her mind. How could she be in these images if she had never lived them? "They are not memories of you," the fortress said. "They are possibilities. They are the record of your design. You were created to be the key, to awaken the systems left behind, to guide humanity when the time came." The crew murmured among themselves. Some shook their heads. "This is insane," one of them whispered. "She's just a person." "How can all this be true?" "I don't know," she admitted, "but I think it is. And we can't turn back now." The fortress pulsed again. More images appeared. Not of humans, but of alien species. Ships moved through systems Lena had never known existed. Some of the aliens were enormous, monstrous, with weapons that could destroy entire planets. The fortress labeled them as threats. Their fleets had detected the awakening. They were moving now, hundreds of light years away, but closing in fast.
"They believe humans are weak," the fortress said. "They do not know what has awakened."
"What do we do?" the captain asked. He had finally found his voice, but it trembled.
"You must awaken fully," the fortress said.
"You must become the link where they will strike before humanity is ready." Lena felt the weight of the words pressing on her chest. She had been a quiet systems worker. She had spent her life fixing machines and avoiding conflict. Now, the fate of humanity rested on her. Her hand shook as she approached the sphere at the center of the room. "Are you ready?" the fortress asked. I think I am," Lena said. The sphere glowed brighter. Energy rose through her body, warm and powerful. It was not painful, but overwhelming. Lena felt as if her mind was expanding, filling with knowledge she had never learned, with memories she had never lived, with possibilities she had never imagined. The crew backed away, watching in awe and fear. The lights in the chamber shifted, following Lena's movements. The fortress had accepted her, and she had accepted it. Together, they were awakening something that had been dormant for centuries. Outside, sensors detected movement. Alien ships had arrived at the edge of the system. They were sleek, fast, and numerous. They did not fire yet. They were cautious, testing the fortress, waiting to see how it would respond. "They will attack soon," the fortress said. "You must decide. Will you defend, or will you wait?" Lena looked at the screens showing the alien fleet. Hundreds of ships, thousands of weapons. Entire civilizations could be destroyed if the fortress struck blindly. "We defend," she said. "We protect, not destroy. We show them that humans are not what they expect." The fortress responded instantly. Shields rose around nearby colonies. Weapons aligned, but they did not fire. Energy scanned the alien ships, analyzing every system. The fortress was learning, calculating, predicting. The first alien vessel fired. A beam of energy shot toward a nearby planet. Lena's hand moved instinctively, and the fortress redirected the energy, turning it into harmless light that floated across space. The crew gasped. "They are faster than anything we have seen," one engineer whispered. "And stronger. But the fortress, it's controlling everything." "Yes," Lena said quietly. "But it listens to me. I guide it." The aliens realized they were not fighting a simple machine. They attempted maneuvers, flanking the fortress, testing its response. The fortress adapted instantly, repositioning defenses and neutralizing attacks without destruction. The battle continued for hours. Lena felt exhaustion in her body, but her mind was sharp. Every decision, every thought influenced the fortress. She could feel the energy flowing through her, connecting her to the ships, to the colonies, to the patterns of the universe itself. Then the fortress spoke. "You are more than human. You are the bridge. But others will come. Greater threats. Are you prepared?" Lena swallowed.
I will be. I have to be.
She realized something. The aliens attacking were only the first wave. There were greater dangers waiting beyond known space, threats that had waited for centuries while humanity slept. If she could awaken the fortress fully, if she could learn its ways and merge with it, they might survive. Otherwise, all would be lost. The crew watched in awe as the fortress pulsed with Lena's energy. Light moved across walls, floors, and ceilings. Symbols shifted, revealing maps of star systems, routes, and ancient fleets. Lena could see the paths of history and the paths of possibility. "Why me?" she asked softly. "Why did they choose me?" "Because you are human," the fortress replied. "Because you have the courage to step forward. Others would have turned away. Others would have been too afraid. You are the one who can connect humanity to what they were meant to be." The alien fleet retreated, confused and cautious. They had never seen a human system respond like this. They had never seen humans fight without fear, without anger, without destruction. They did not understand what they were up against. Lena felt a strange calm. She was still afraid, but the fear no longer controlled her. She understood her place. She understood the fortress. She understood that the future of humanity rested not in power alone, but in wisdom, restraint, and the ability to adapt. The fortress shifted again, opening new corridors and chambers for exploration. Lena and her crew moved forward, knowing they had only begun to uncover what lay inside. "You must learn," the fortress said, "and you must prepare. More will come. The galaxy is vast, and humanity has forgotten its place. But that can change." Lena nodded. "I will learn. I will prepare.
I will do what must be done." And as the fortress pulsed around her, connecting her mind to systems older than memory, she realized that she was no longer just Lena, the quiet engineer. She was the bridge. She was the key. And the stars themselves had begun to notice her awakening. The alien fleet vanished from the sensors for now, retreating to warn others. But Lena knew this was only the beginning. There would be more. Greater threats. Creatures and civilizations that would not accept humanity's rise without challenge. But she felt ready. The fortress had chosen her. Humanity's past had chosen her. And now humanity's future depended on her courage, her wisdom, and the name she had whispered in a forgotten childhood. The chamber hummed, the sphere at its center rotating slowly. Lena stepped forward, determined to explore the depths of the fortress and understand the legacy that had waited for her for centuries. Somewhere far away, unseen eyes watched the awakening of a force they had not expected, and they began to move. The galaxy was no longer quiet. The fortress had awakened, and Lena was ready to guide it. The fortress was quiet now, but Lena knew it was only the calm before the storm. Outside, the sensors picked up distant movements, shadows across star systems that hinted at danger. The alien fleet that had retreated was sending signals, calling for reinforcements. They had underestimated humans. They had underestimated her. And soon they would pay attention. Inside the fortress, Lena walked through the corridors. Lights shifted with her every step, guiding her, responding to her presence. The walls pulsed softly, as if the structure itself was breathing. She could feel it learning, understanding her thoughts and intentions. It no longer needed words to follow her commands. The crew moved behind her cautiously. Some were still uneasy. They had seen the fortress in action, seen its power, and yet they feared it. Fear is a natural thing, Lena thought. Even now she could feel it coursing through them. She could not blame them. The fortress was alive, yes, but it was also older than humanity, and it had secrets. "You have grown stronger," the fortress said, its voice echoing through the halls. "You are learning faster than any previous key. The galaxy will soon know your presence." Lena nodded. "I need to know what is coming. What should I prepare for?"
Greater forces are moving.
"Not all who watch are enemies, but some are hunters. They will not tolerate human awakening. Their fleets will strike without mercy. You must be ready to defend, but also to guide." The thought of entire star systems under attack made her chest tighten. She was not a soldier. She had not trained for war, and yet here she was, responsible for more lives than she could count. She could not let fear control her. In the command chamber, the sphere glowed with new energy. Lena approached it, sensing the patterns within. The fortress was showing her routes, positions, potential strategies. Ships moved across holographic maps, some human, some alien. Information poured in faster than she could process, but the fortress guided her mind, helping her focus.
"They are studying us," the fortress said. "They do not understand our methods, but soon they will act." Outside the fortress, a fleet appeared. It was larger than the first, more disciplined, more organized. Lena studied the ships. Their weapons were powerful, capable of destroying planets. Their formation was precise,
and they had intelligence that suggested centuries of experience in hunting intelligent life. "They think humans are weak," the fortress said. "They will learn the truth." Lena felt a rush of determination. She could not allow them to strike first. Humanity had been sleeping for too long. It was time to rise. She reached for the controls, feeling the fortress respond to her will. Shields rose around distant colonies, deflecting minor attacks automatically. Defense systems aligned in anticipation of the fleet's moves. The fortress was protecting without instruction, but it waited for her guidance to strike. The alien fleet tested them. A smaller squadron approached, firing beams to probe defenses. The fortress absorbed the attacks, redirecting energy harmlessly into space. The crew watched in awe as Lena's hands moved effortlessly, guiding the fortress, controlling systems beyond comprehension. "They are stronger than before," one engineer whispered. "But the fortress, it is controlling everything." "Yes," Lena said quietly. "It listens to me, and I listen to it."
The fleet adjusted, forming a new strategy. It was clear they were not going to retreat this time.
They had studied the first encounter, realized the fortress's power, and now they were preparing to strike in full force. Lena felt the tension tighten in her chest. She could feel the fortress pulsing beneath her fingertips, alive, ready. She had never commanded such a force before, never been responsible for so much. But she was learning, and she was not alone. The fortress opened new corridors, revealing chambers filled with weapons, ships, and technology long thought lost. Lena's mind raced as she took in the possibilities. She could mobilize fleets, create defenses, awaken dormant systems across the galaxy. Humanity had been hidden, but the fortress had preserved its potential. "Prepare the counterattack," she said finally. "But do not destroy unless necessary. We are showing strength, not cruelty." The fortress responded instantly. Ships moved into formation. Energy fields expanded. Weapons aligned. The alien fleet fired again, and Lena guided the fortress to neutralize the attacks without causing destruction. Her heart pounded. Every decision mattered. Every move could save or doom countless lives. Time seemed to stretch. The alien fleet tested, retreated, regrouped, and attacked again. Lena's mind worked in harmony with the fortress, anticipating moves, predicting outcomes, adjusting defenses. The crew followed her lead, their fear slowly replaced with trust. Then a warning flashed across the central display. A larger threat had appeared beyond the fleet. Ships unlike anything Lena had seen before, massive, dark, and heavily armed. They were moving toward the system, drawn by the awakening of the fortress. "They are not like the others," the fortress said. "They are ancient. They have waited. They will not be defeated easily." Lena felt a chill run down her spine. The first fleet had been dangerous, but this was something different. Something older. Something that had been watching, waiting, and now they had arrived.
"We need to be ready," she said.
"Every system, every defense. The fortress will guide us, but we must act quickly." The fortress pulsed, energy spreading through the corridors and into the ships docked within. Systems hummed to life. Crews trained to operate machines that had not been used for centuries. Lena's mind worked in tandem with the fortress, orchestrating the preparations. Outside, the alien fleet hesitated. They sensed the new force arriving. They could not act recklessly. Yet they were hunters, and hunters did not retreat easily. Lena's hands moved over the controls, directing ships, shields, and energy flows. Depressing ships. She felt the fortress respond instantly, aligning every system with her intent. She was no longer just a human in a machine. She was part of it, and it was part of her. A sudden alert rang through the command chamber. The alien fleet had launched an attack on a nearby human colony, hoping to draw the fortress out. Lena's mind raced. She could not allow them to strike. "Deploy defense drones," she commanded. "Divert energy to shields. Protect the civilians. Neutralize without destroying." The fortress obeyed. Energy beams deflected attacks. Drones moved with precision, intercepting enemy fire. Civilians were safe, and the attacking ships were forced to retreat under the fortress's control. The crew watched in disbelief. They had never seen anything like this. They had seen humans struggle, fight, and flee. But now, they were witnessing humans in command of a force that could rival the stars themselves. "They are learning," one of the engineers whispered. "Not just the aliens, but us. We are different now." "Yes," Lena said, "we have awakened, and we will not be weak again." The fortress pulsed again, stronger this time. Lena could feel the energy flowing into every corner of the system. It was alive, aware, and ready, and it was learning from her, adapting, evolving. The distant fleet returned, larger and more organized. They had received reinforcements, and now their numbers threatened to overwhelm. Lena studied their positions, their weapons, their movements. She felt the fortress respond to her thoughts, aligning every system in perfect harmony. "We will show them humanity," she said. "Not as weak, not as frightened, but as guardians. We fight not for power, but for survival, for hope." The alien fleet fired again, more aggressively this time. Beams of energy cut through space, but the fortress absorbed, redirected, and neutralized them. The crew watched in awe as Lena guided the system with precision and calm. She was no longer afraid. Fear had been replaced with purpose. The first wave of enemy ships began to retreat, but more were coming. Lena knew this was only the beginning. The galaxy was vast, and the forces that had once hunted humanity were gathering. But she also knew that with the fortress, she could protect what had been forgotten. The fortress pulsed one final time, energy flowing into Lena. She felt a connection deeper than thought, deeper than memory. She could see the stars, the fleets, the colonies, and the paths of possibility. She understood now that she was not just a human, but a bridge, a link, and a guide. "Prepare for the next wave," she said. "We will not hide. We will not fear. We will stand, and we will show them what humanity can be." The fortress responded, alive and ready. And far away in the darkness of space, new eyes watched the system. Observers, hunters, ancient forces that had waited centuries, they had noticed the awakening. And now they were moving closer. Lena stood at the center of the command chamber, feeling the power of the fortress flowing through her. She was no longer just Lena. She was a key, a guide, and a protector. The galaxy had changed, and nothing would ever be the same again. The fortress pulsed with energy, vast and alive. Lena felt it in her bones, through her mind, through every breath she took. She had guided it through attacks, defended colonies, and shown humanity could rise without destroying. But now, something older, something far more dangerous, was moving through space toward them. The sensors picked it up slowly at first. Shadows on the edges of known systems. Enormous ships drifting through darkness, cloaked until the fortress revealed them. They were not like the alien fleets they had fought before. These were older, larger, and filled with intelligence beyond imagination. Their presence alone made the stars feel colder.
"Who are they?" the captain asked, voice low, almost trembling.
"They are the creators of the fortress," the voice said. It was deeper now, almost reverent. "Those who built me and those who trained your kind, they have returned to reclaim what they left behind. They will not negotiate. They will demand control." Lena's stomach tightened. She had fought fleets, neutralized attacks, protected entire systems. But now she felt a fear that went deeper. These beings were not hunters. They were judges, creators, and enforcers. "They are coming," she whispered. "And they are not like anyone we've faced before." "They will test you," the fortress said. "They will attempt to take me. If you fail, humanity will be erased. But if you succeed," the voice paused. "If you succeed, humanity will rise beyond its limits." Lena swallowed and approached the sphere at the center of the chamber. She had merged with the fortress before, but now she needed to merge deeper, not just to guide, but to understand, to anticipate, to become more than human. Her hands touched the glowing surface. Energy flowed into her, filling her mind with knowledge, memory, and vision. She saw the Creator's fleets approaching, vast and structured, filled with ships that could dwarf planets. She felt their intelligence, vast and cold, scanning, analyzing, planning. "They do not know fear," she said quietly. "But we do, and that will be our strength." The crew moved behind her, unsure whether to follow or retreat. They had seen the fortress in action, but this was different. This was something older, something they could not yet understand. Lena turned to them. "We do not fight because we want war," she said. "We fight because we must survive, and we fight because humanity has the right to exist." The fortress responded instantly. Shields expanded across nearby colonies, energy flowing into defensive positions. Weapon systems aligned not to destroy, but to deter. Lena guided every movement, every calculation, her mind working in harmony with the fortress. Outside, the Creator's fleet began its assault. Massive beams of energy cut through space, but the fortress absorbed them, redirecting the energy harmlessly. The crew watched in awe. They had never seen technology respond with such precision, with such awareness. "They are testing us," the fortress said. "They want to see your reaction. They want to see if humanity can rise beyond obedience." Lena felt a surge of determination. She would not allow them to control the fortress. She would not allow them to erase humanity's potential. "Prepare countermeasures," she said. "Defend, yes, but also adapt. We show them we are not the same humans they left behind." The fortress responded, activating dormant systems throughout the surrounding space. Old satellites, abandoned ships, and ancient colonies began to hum with life. Energy flowed into defense grids, weapon systems, and communication arrays. Humanity had been hidden, but now it was waking. The first wave of attacks came directly at the fortress. Massive energy beams tore through space, striking shields that glowed and absorbed the impact. Lena guided the energy, redirecting it, using it to strengthen the fortress's defenses. She felt a strange satisfaction in seeing systems respond so quickly, so efficiently, yet without unnecessary destruction. The Creator's ships adjusted, attacking with precision, but Lena anticipated their movements. She could feel their strategy, their intent. Every action was a challenge, every move a test. And the fortress responded instantly, countering, adapting, learning. "This is only the beginning," the fortress said.
They will escalate. They will demand more.
"They will find we are not afraid," Lena said. "We will rise not just to fight, but to survive and protect." Energy flared across space as the Creator's fleet pressed harder. Lena guided the fortress to create barriers, redirecting attacks, neutralizing without killing. The crew marveled at the precision. They had never seen warfare conducted with such intelligence and restraint. "They do not understand us," Lena said. "They do not know what humanity has become." The fortress pulsed, sending waves of energy through the system. Dormant ships and stations came alive, aligning with her will. Humanity was no longer hidden. It was awake, coordinated, and ready. The Creator's fleet was enormous, but they were not used to resistance like this. Their attacks became slower, more cautious. Lena could feel them hesitate, unsure how to respond to a human mind guiding an ancient fortress. "They sense our strength," the fortress said. "But they will not yield. They will demand obedience." "I will not obey," Lena said. "We do not give control to those who seek to erase us. We protect what is ours, and we protect what we can." Energy flowed through her. The fortress responded instantly, activating defensive and offensive systems across multiple star systems. Ships that had been asleep for centuries awoke, aligning with her will. Humanity had risen, and the galaxy would feel it. The first major strike from the Creator's fleet hit a distant colony. Lena guided the fortress to absorb the attack, redirecting energy into defensive shields that protected the civilians. She could feel the relief of the people across space, even without seeing them. Their survival was her responsibility, and she would not fail. The alien creators adjusted, their strategy changing. They sent probes, smaller ships, to analyze the fortress. Lena guided the fortress to capture them, study them, and return them without harm. Every action was a statement. Humans were not weak. Humans were not to be feared, but humans were to be respected. The crew watched, inspired and awed. They had followed Lena into the fortress, thinking they were salvagers. Now they saw her as a leader, a bridge between humanity's forgotten past and its awakening future.
"They are moving faster now," one engineer said. "We can't hold them forever. We will not need forever," Lena said.
"We will hold them long enough to show them we are awake. We will survive, and we will rise." The Creator's fleet realized their attacks were being countered with intelligence they could not anticipate. Beams that would have destroyed planets were deflected, redirected, and absorbed. Every strike they launched made humanity stronger, more organized, more aware. Lena felt the fortress pulse through her again. She could see the paths of possibility, the strategies of the fleet, the potential outcomes. She could guide, anticipate, and protect. She was no longer just human. She was the bridge, the key, the protector. The Creators realized their mistake. Humanity was not weak. Humanity had grown. And the fortress, guided by Lena, was more than a machine. It was alive, aware, and capable of adaptation they had never imagined. A sudden warning flashed across the screens. A larger segment of the fleet, the oldest and most powerful, was approaching.
Their size and energy readings suggested they could destroy entire systems in moments.
Lena felt a chill, but she did not hesitate. "We faced them together," she said. "Not with anger, not with fear, but with purpose. Humanity will not fall." The fortress responded instantly, energy flowing into every system, every ship, every station. Humanity's hidden power was now awake, coordinated, and alive. The Creator's fleet fired again, massive beams tearing through space. But Lena guided the fortress with precision, neutralizing attacks without causing unnecessary destruction. The battle raged, enormous and tense. Lena could feel the strain, the weight of responsibility pressing on her, but she did not falter. She had become the bridge, the key, the leader humanity had never known it needed. And in the heart of the fortress, the sphere pulsed with her energy, learning, adapting, evolving. The Creator's fleet realized too late that humanity was no longer a species to be controlled or hunted. Humanity had awakened, guided by one who remembered the forgotten name, the forgotten purpose, and the forgotten hope. Lena stood at the center of the chamber, hands glowing with energy. The fortress pulsed around her, alive and aware. She understood now. The greatest power was not weapons, not fleets, not technology. It was choice. It was restraint. It was courage. The Creator's fleet began to retreat, reassessing, realizing that humanity had grown beyond their understanding. Lena knew this was only temporary. They would return. Greater threats would come. But she also knew that humanity was ready, guided by the fortress, by her, by the courage that had been hidden for centuries. The fortress pulsed one last time, calm, strong, and alive. Lena felt the connection deepen, not as a weapon, but as a guardian. Humanity would survive, and it would rise. The galaxy had shifted. The stars had noticed. And Lena knew that whatever came next, she and the fortress would face it together, guiding humanity into a future they had never imagined, but were now ready to claim. The fortress hummed with quiet energy, stronger than ever. Lena felt it in every part of her body, a connection deeper than thought, deeper than memory. She had guided it through battles, through attacks, through the awakening of humanity's hidden power. But now the greatest challenge was approaching. The creators of the fortress were returning, not as explorers, not as testers, but as enforcers, ready to reclaim what they had built. Sensors detected their fleet far across the system. Massive ships vast beyond imagination, glinting in the darkness. They were silent, calculated, ancient. Lena felt the weight of what was coming. These were beings who had watched humanity rise, fall, and hide. Now they had returned to judge, to demand control, to erase what they had once deemed a failed experiment. "They will not negotiate," the fortress said. Its voice echoed, calm but heavy. "They will demand obedience, or they will destroy." Lena swallowed. "We will not obey," she said. "We will survive. We will protect humanity, and we will rise." Energy pulsed through her hands as she approached the glowing sphere. She did not just touch it this time. She merged with it fully, letting her mind and the fortress become one. The walls shifted, the corridors pulsed, and systems across the fortress hummed with life. She could feel every ship, every weapon, every station connected. She could see the stars themselves, feel the paths of possibility stretching out across light years. The Creator's fleet advanced, massive beams of energy slicing through space. Lena guided the fortress, redirecting attacks, neutralizing energy before it could harm anyone. The fortress acted with perfect precision, defending colonies, fleets, and hidden systems. Humanity had risen, and it was more than a match for the ancient enforcers.
"They do not understand," Lena said quietly.
"They do not know humanity has changed. We are not the same species they left behind." The fortress pulsed in response, energy flowing faster, brighter. Lena felt it learning, adapting, evolving. She realized the fortress was no longer just a machine. It had grown, just as she had grown, just as humanity had begun to grow. The Creators launched a second wave, more powerful than the first. Entire fleets moved in unison, their strategy precise, relentless. Lena guided the fortress to intercept, to protect, and to adapt. Beams of energy struck shields and were absorbed, redirected, turned harmless. The crew watched in awe. They had followed Lena into this ancient fortress, thinking they were salvagers. Now they were witnesses to the rebirth of a species.
"They are testing our limits," the fortress said. "They want to see if humanity can command power without fear."
"They will learn soon. They will learn," Lena said. "We fight for life, not for destruction. That is our strength." The alien Creators tried to assert control, sending commands through the vast space between them and the fortress. Lena felt their intelligence probing her mind, searching for weakness. She did not resist, but she did not yield. She opened herself fully to the fortress, letting it guide her thoughts, letting the knowledge of centuries flow into her. Energy surged through the fortress, then through her. She could see everything at once: fleets moving, colonies protected, fleets of the Creators adjusting strategy. The fortress was alive, aware, and learning. Lena was no longer just human. She was a bridge, a key, and a guardian. The Creators fired again. Massive weapons capable of annihilating planets struck the outer shields. Lena guided the fortress to absorb, deflect, and neutralize the energy. Ships that had been dormant for centuries awoke, aligning with the fortress's guidance. Humanity was no longer hidden. Humanity was awake. "They will not relent," the fortress said.
"They will demand surrender. What is your will?" "I will not surrender," Lena said.
"We will stand. We will protect life. We will rise." The Creator's fleet adjusted again, larger vessels moving in formations designed to overwhelm. Lena felt their strategy, their plan to bypass defenses and strike directly at the fortress. She anticipated each movement, guiding energy flows, activating shields, directing dormant systems across the galaxy. The fortress was not just defending. It was showing the Creators that humans were capable of intelligence, adaptability, and restraint. A massive energy surge hit the outer rim of the system. Lena felt the shock through the fortress and her body. She closed her eyes and let the energy flow through her, redirecting it, using it to power defensive grids and awakening hidden stations. Every attack strengthened humanity's response, teaching them to anticipate, to adapt, to survive. The Creators sent their largest weapon, a beam of energy wider than a planet, aimed at the central chamber of the fortress. Lena felt a chill, but she did not hesitate. She guided the fortress to split the energy, redirect it, and neutralize it. The beam struck harmlessly across the stars, energy flowing into defensive systems and stations. Humanity was safe. "They will strike again," the fortress said. "They will escalate. What is your choice?"
"I choose to defend," Lena said. "We protect life, and we show them humanity is awake, strong, and not to be controlled." Energy flowed through her.
The fortress responded instantly, expanding shields, awakening hidden fleets, activating weapons with precision. The galaxy had shifted. Humanity had risen, not by fear, not by destruction, but by guidance, intelligence, and courage. The creators realized they were facing more than just a fortress. They were facing a species that had been hidden, strengthened by ancient knowledge, and guided by one who remembered the name of the past, the purpose forgotten for centuries. A sudden silence spread across the battlefield. The creators' fleet paused. They recalculated, unsure how to strike at a species that had learned faster than they expected. Lena felt the tension, but also a sense of hope. Humanity had survived against the odds before, and now they had grown beyond what anyone had imagined. "Prepare for the final strike," the fortress said. "They will not retreat. They will attempt to take control." "They will not take control," Lena said. "We are awake. We are ready." The creators launched their final wave. Enormous ships moved with precision, energy beams tearing across space toward the fortress. Lena merged fully with the sphere, guiding every defensive and offensive system. Energy surged, shields flared, and beams struck and were neutralized. Humanity held. Humanity survived. The fortress pulsed again, sending waves of energy into the enemy fleet. The creators realized too late that they could not overwhelm a species that had learned to anticipate, adapt, and survive. The fortress had evolved beyond its original programming. It had chosen humanity. Lena felt a strange calm. The battle raged outside, but she knew that victory was near. She had guided the fortress, defended colonies, and shown that humanity was awake. The creators' fleet began to retreat, reassessing, unable to impose control over a species they had once thought weak. The crew watched in awe, understanding finally that they had been part of something greater. Lena turned to them. "We have survived," she said. "And we will continue. Humanity has awakened, and we will protect what is ours." The fortress pulsed once more. Energy flowed through Lena, then outward, spreading across the galaxy. Stations, ships, colonies, all connected, all protected. Humanity was no longer hidden. Humanity was awake, coordinated, and alive. Far away across the stars, other eyes watched. Creatures and civilizations that had been hidden, waiting, preparing, began to sense the awakening. But they would not find a weak humanity. They would find a species awake, aware, and guided by one who remembered the past and the name that had unlocked it. Lena stepped back from the sphere. Her body was exhausted, but her mind was sharp. She had become the bridge between humanity's forgotten past and its awakened future. She was no longer just Lena, the quiet systems worker. She was the key, the guardian, and the guide. The fortress spoke one last time, softly, as if acknowledging her courage. "You have fulfilled the purpose, but the galaxy is vast. You will face new challenges, but you are ready."
"I will face them," Lena said. "We will face them."
Humanity will rise, not with fear, not with anger, but with courage, intelligence, and hope. The fortress pulsed, brighter than ever. Light spread across corridors, stations, and ships. Energy flowed like water through space, connecting systems, awakening hidden knowledge, and signaling humanity's return. In a quiet colony far away, a child whispered a name in the dark. The stars flickered, and a distant system stirred. Lena smiled faintly. The cycle of awakening had begun again, and humanity was ready. The fortress, now fully awake, no longer required a single commander. It had learned to trust, to adapt, to guide. But Lena remained its link, its bridge, the one who had remembered the name that unlocked the past. And as the galaxy turned, Lena knew the truth. Humanity's greatest power was not the fortress, not its weapons, not its fleets. Humanity's greatest power was choice, courage, and the ability to rise even when all seemed lost. The stars were no longer silent. Humanity had awakened, guided by one who remembered the past, protected the present, and was ready to shape the future. The galaxy would never forget. The fortress had chosen humanity. Lena had chosen hope, and together they would face whatever came next. The awakening was complete.